All right. We talking about sports. Y mira nomás. Look what the cat dragged in, Mr. Rock and Roll James. Hot Rod on the T-shirt, but Rock and Roll
Riding like
James
a
to our
sniper.
hearts. What's up, man? What's up, Pop? How you
Oh,
doing,
nothing
Dad?
much,
You're the
man.
dad.
I appreciate you all letting me into your world, man. Into your online world, virtual worlds, man.
And as always, Mr. Justin J. Mart Martinez himself. How you doing today, Justin?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm super excited for the special guest that we have. He loves wrestling. We love wrestling. And now we get to, fuse it all together and make this very fun for us here.
Orale, orale. All
Yeah,
right, man.
man.
Well, without further ado, like our other guy, Roland says, shout out to Roland and shout out to Ben, the other members of We Talking About Sports. Today we talking about sports, but hey, is wrestling a sport? Let's just start off with that. Is wrestling a sport?
Sports
It
entertainment.
is.
Okay.
Wrestling is a sport. As a matter of fact, here locally, there was a couple of girls that won state. One of
Mm-hmm.
the girls won state. The other one got fourth. So as soon as I see that on the news, I'm like, they should go to San Antonio, get into a camp, try to make it in like Raquel Rodriguez, bro. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I see
Oh,
these
yeah.
girls with a lot of wrestling talent here in South Texas. So it is a sports, but when you get into the pro wrestling, it turns into entertainment, and then there's all kinds of scripts and
Mm-hmm.
production and all kinds of stuff. But growing up, watching wrestling since I was a kid, what Vince McMahon has done with the WWE to make it a $9 billion corporation, and that's what I mean.
True.
That's what he's asking for the
Mm-hmm.
sale of the WWE. But I guess they start high and then they'll go down and they'll figure out a good number. But it's just been absolutely amazing. I've been there since Vince McMahon picked it up, man, and then since Vince McMahon ended up buying everything.
Yeah, and
So
it wasn't that long ago that he did it, right? I mean, when did he get WWE? Was it in the 70s? So this
it
is
was
only
a
something that was what in like 40, 50 years this guy, turned into this multi-billion dollar corporation here.
Yeah, his dad owned it, and then he handed it over to him in the early '80s. And Vince had a whole different perspective because back then, his dad had a gentleman's agreement with a lot of other people in other territories of the United States of America. Every like the South, the
Mhm.
Northwest
Yeah.
Pacific, Texas. There was three different types of territories here in Texas. You had the Von Erichs, you had the Blanchards, and you also had the Houston. Blanchards had the San Antonio area. Von Erichs had Dallas, and then you had with World Class Championship Wrestling, and then you had the Houston market as well.
Mhm.
So they would travel from territory to territory, and you would never see a Northeast promotion like WWF come and do a show in Texas because that
Okay.
was against the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Everybody stuck to their territory. And for example, Ric Flair had the NWA belt, and that was considered like the overall territorial belt.
Ah,
And so
okay.
Yeah.
they would share him in different territories, and he'd go and start feuds, and it was always a lot of fun. So every time you saw the local wrestling territory in your area, you kept seeing a parade of stars coming around. But there was a
Mhm.
lot of stars that did make it down here, like Harley Race, King Kong Mosca, Bobo Brazil, a lot of those type of wrestlers that just stuck to the Northwest and to the Canadian area and all that stuff. But Vince McMahon, he said, you know what? I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get into your territory. And so he ended up signing a deal with USA Network, and man, he became nationwide, sort of like the Georgia Championship Wrestling was on WTBS, which was Ted Turner's, syndicated station. And so he got that, and then he ended up going into territories like St. Louis. And I remember them saying that local territory guys would never invest money into their wrestling product. So they were using the same old mat, the same old, ring,
Damn,
Hmm.
three,
imagine.
three or four lights. And then Vince McMahon would come in here and then put up a light show and all
Yeah.
that. So he wasn't making any money at the beginning. He was just spending it all to make it big and make it.
Mhm.
and he slowly ended up, taking over the whole entire world, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's true
especially now
because
wanting to sell the Arabs, but going from Vince McMahon in the 70s and 80s to more of the Attitude Era, Justin, which was kind of our
yeah.
era. That's where I got really into wrestling. Early 90s, and then it took off to the Attitude Era in the late 90s. Was that when you started to get really into wrestling, Justin, or were you kind of like watching it with your pops, as like a kid, or did it attract you into your teens and stuff?
No, I was a little bit just before the Attitude Era, right when the first Raw was coming out. We watched stuff on Saturdays where they would take phone calls and stuff like that. That's kind of when I got into it. My pops kind of pushed me into it. But what you're talking about is the second boom. What your dad was saying earlier was the first boom when Vince was going out and stepping on other territories. Then the Attitude Era came out, and now you got 6 million viewers an episode. That is the biggest boom wrestling has had. And your dad was telling me earlier, there's another boom going on. Elimination Chamber did some numbers.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting, man.
And that's exactly what we are here to talk about today. So from the 70s to the 80s to the Attitude Era, now we're in 2023, and like you guys said, I feel like another boom is coming with the Logan Pauls and these superstars like The Rock and Ronda Rousey getting all this attention outside of wrestling and bringing all those fans into the wrestling world. So we're here for the 2023 WWE Elimination Chamber, which just happened, and I got these experts with me, so we're gonna go ahead and dive into this Elimination Chamber, man. So when was this, Justin? This was what, Sunday?
This was this past Saturday in Montreal, Canada. And Rock, do you happen to have those numbers that you sent me earlier? Because they did some incredible numbers compared to last year.
I've got them right here. You know what was interesting and what I've liked, and I've noticed that, it's taking the WWE pay-per-view to a whole new level, is moving it to Saturday nights, dude.
Yeah.
They were always on Sundays,
mm-hmm.
and now they're on Saturday nights, and look at the numbers they're bringing in, dude. They should have done this. They're probably saying we should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah. And while you're saying that, I want to mention, now they even put it on the same night sometimes as the UFC. They're going head-to-head with them sometimes. Now that they pushed it Saturday night, they're not afraid. They're willing to put the fights on at the same time.
Yeah. So let me check it. I think I put it in.
Yeah, you're good, Pop. You're good, man. As you look into those numbers, Justin, are we going to get into the first match of the night?
Well, I want to bring those numbers up because I thought they were very interesting numbers. I do have them. If not, I got them here.
I think I got them right here. Elimination Chamber 2023 breaks records for WWE. They touted the record set. Elimination Chamber Montreal broke this past weekend in the press release issued today. The release says that the premium live event from Bell Center was the most viewed Elimination Chamber in history.
Wow.
With a 54% increase in viewership over the last year. We're talking Saturday nights now.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are at home, families can stay home, and they don't have to worry about getting up early the next day to go to school when they're on Sunday nights. Also, last year's event in Saudi Arabia held the previous record for Elimination Chamber. This year's event also had the largest gate in the show's history and largest gate for any WWE show held in Montreal. Also, the show broke the all-time event merchandise record and generated the highest grossing priority pass fan experience packages for any non-Big Five premium live event through WWE's partnership with On Location. Elimination Chamber sponsorship revenue was also up nearly 300% compared to 2022. Everybody wants to be a part of the WWE now.
Crazy
bringing
numbers.
In numbers. You got a business, you're going to want to buy some advertisement. They're not as expensive as the Super Bowl ads, and you get a pretty good amount of of exposure with it. So
yeah,
he's selling it for $9 billion, man. And I think a lot of these things, and you know what, if you notice, doing them on Saturday nights now, they're doing press conferences after, post press conferences, which I think is amazing, because I went to it and I saw it, and it's really cool to see the wrestlers come in after their matches, sit down, take questions from the journalists. It's really cool. It gives it a real feel, So all these little things started happening after Triple H came in and started running the show.
Yeah.
So he came in with these ideas, and they're bringing in ideas that are from the sports world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know if you saw. I saw a promo with Sami Zayn, and it was after the match because he had a big old scratch, that
Yeah.
big old red scratch right here. So he's talking, and you don't know if Sammy is
Yes. Talk about
playing a
that.
character
Yeah. Yeah.
or if he's like just because it's real. It sounds real, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's playing a real character, and so it's kind of like making it feel like, man, this is real stuff, you know.
Hmm.
So props to Sami Zayn for
It
just
blurs the lines.
it blurs the lines, dude. I was
Yep.
watching the show and it seemed okay. This is like a real interview, or is this a promo? It's not. It was like talking to a sports player, football, baseball player
Yeah.
after the fight, after the match, and I got to give Sami Zayn some props for that, man.
Yeah.
I was telling Justin, you sent a video to me in our text message, and he had one of the biggest pops in
Yeah.
it's called an ovation in other terms, but in wrestling terms, it's called a pop.
Yeah.
And it was like the craziest pop that I had ever seen or even heard or watched, obviously on a phone or a computer, but it looked wild, man. I think
Brought him to tears, Ron.
Justin said that they were on their feet during the match like 4 minutes, 4 or 5
Yep.
minutes. Just they
Yep.
weren't moving in the ring, and the crowd was just going insane. The crowd was going nuts.
Well, with
But-
the main event on the Elimination Chamber, Justin, they didn't even touch each other for like 10 minutes, dude.
That's what he said.
And it reminded me of the match between The Rock and Hulk Hogan, which was also
WrestleMania.
in Montreal. I think it was in Montreal, Canada. It was in Canada. They just stood there and looked at each other for like 5 minutes, and the crowd was like fire, dude. They were like, oh.
You know what's crazy is The Rock was supposed to be the good guy in that fight, and they were booing him and going for Hogan, and Hogan was coming in as NWO Hollywood Hogan. It flipped the script. It was crazy, man.
It's I think Canadian fans are true wrestling fans. I mean, you have the Hart Foundation.
They turn it up for their
Hart and all
guys.
that. I mean, those it's like they love hockey. The passion for hockey, the passion for wrestling, I think goes deep within those Canadian fans, and they understand a little bit more the significance of the roles and the heels and the good guys and the storylines and just the respect that they have for what the wrestlers go through. I think is different, over there in Canada, but we'll get to the main event at the very end. But are we gonna get into the first match of that?
Let's break into it, Ron. Go ahead and post the.
Go ahead, do your producer skills. So if not, I'm gonna get lost and I'm gonna throw the last match first and all that stuff.
Well, go ahead and put the graphic up, and we can get into it. And, so here it was Asuka, coming out with the victory. And I gotta ask you, Rock, what did you think about Asuka being the one chosen for WrestleMania? Do you think it was the right call, especially with the way they were positioning Raquel Rodriguez as of late?
Yeah, because real quick, Asuka defeated Carmella, Liv Morgan, Natalia, Nikki Cross, and Raquel Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good, it's a good transition because I'm feeling that they're probably going to move Raquel Rodriguez, little by little. They're trying to bring her into a bigger level. And, eventually maybe she'll reach the status of, Asuka or Charlotte Flair, But what's interesting is that now you've got Lita coming in. You've got also, they're saying that the other diva from, what was her name?
Trish Stratus?
From Canada. Trish Stratus is supposed to come in as well. Yep. So they're going to bring in those girls, and those girls are going to guide these younger generation, this young group of divas, to make them wrestle to the next level, man. Because one of the best matches I saw was in WrestleMania matches was Asuka and Charlotte Flair. I remember that match was top notch. So the women's division is really becoming exciting and a lot of fun to watch, man.
in good
What do you
hands.
think, Justin?
So I do like Oscar winning. I do like the whole. I think the gimmick is called the murder clown, as you can see with the face paint. I think that's what they call it. I did like it. I like the way they handled Raquel Rodriguez. You know, she's the bigger girl. It took two people to get her out of the elimination chair. Oscar and Carmella teamed up to get her out, so they kept her looking strong. I do like that. The downside, though, I wasn't really feeling Nikki Cross. They kind of put her back to that, I'm a crazy person mode. Did not like that. And Liv Morgan, who the fans seem to be behind, I don't like how, they kind of keep making her look weak. They did help by having two people take two people to, submit her, and she passed out. But I just was hoping we'd see a little more from her. But yeah, I do like Asuka winning. I think that makes sense. Her versus Bianca Belair would be it's going to be a pretty good match at WrestleMania now.
Yeah,
speaking of WrestleMania, when is that? In case everybody all these new fans want to watch, is that in a couple months, or we're in February, April?
It's in about 6 weeks.
Who do you guys think gets the biggest push toward WrestleMania as far as women? Or the woman wrestler?
Well, the matches are set, so you're gonna get Asuka versus Bianca Belair, and on the other side you got Charlotte, and she is taking on. Let me see if I can remember who won the Rumble. Rhea Ripley. She's taking on Rhea Ripley at the for winning the Rumble. So I do like those two matches. You're gonna probably have to split them up. You're not gonna get them on the same night because WrestleMania has moved to 2 nights now. So night 1, night 2 for those two. I don't know if they'll main event one of the nights, but they'll be up there. I know they've been doing women main events now at WrestleMania, and it's been hitting.
Women have come a long way, man, because when I was watching wrestling and really into wrestling, they were like the side chicks. They would walk in with the wrestler. I think when I stopped watching, I think Lita and Trish Stratus at the time were the ones who were really getting down in the ring. But other than that, man, as far as the evolution of the women wrestler, I mean, they were just China, even China, who was this freak of an athlete, and the way she was built, she really wouldn't wrestle that much. She would go in and a couple clotheslines, a couple drop kicks, but nothing really major. I would assume that it's way better for the sport in general to see these women actually, get down and show what they can do with the men.
Yeah. Well,
does it bring in more of a crowd? Do you guys think? Like, does it bring in a lot more, women, single women, or just women with their girlfriends saying, "Hey, let's go buy tickets to WrestleMania." Instead of like just, I'm going to go with my husband or my boyfriend and watch WrestleMania. Do you think that it adds to all that, to the ticket sales?
It definitely does. And, the competitiveness of it does too. But back in the Attitude Era, before the Attitude Era, you had female wrestlers that were legit wrestlers. You had the Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young, all these women that came from the younger 60s and 50s and 70s. But then when you got into the Attitude Era, they used them as eye candy, because what's the biggest demo for the demographic for wrestling? Men, boys. And so you had, Sable coming in, Sunny. Then you started having these Raw magazines with all these photo shoots with these divas. And so it was a lot of eye candy. They didn't have much wrestling, talent, but they looked good. They spoke okay on the microphone. But now these wrestling females, they got talent, man. I mean, they're coming in from, you got Ronda Rousey. She's a UFC champ. I mean, that's legitimate talent, and so, I think the competitiveness is going to cause women to want to, support it. But men
Support's
will always be the driving force to the revenue, because I was telling my wife, man, most wrestling fans are, if you look at the crowd, the puros outcasts, I mean, we're like
nerds.
Society's rejects, and then it comes into the hardcore ones, but then, you bring in the mainstream fan as well. So it's just grown, man, to the point where, it's worth $9 billion now, and McMahon might get that for it.
Yeah. So, okay. So that was the first match, right, Justin?
Yeah.
The women's chamber, we found the winner there. I'm sorry. And then who did we have Who do we have next, man? What match do
All
we
right,
have?
so
Oh, okay.
the
I know
second
this
match
guy.
here. Yeah.
So
You
Bobby
might
Lashley.
recognize one of these guys for sure. UFC guy, champ.
Bobby Lashley defeated Brock Lesnar by disqualification. You never want to see a DQ, especially in a big pay-per-view event, but it did happen. It was just a straight-up singles match, between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. What did you guys think about this? Was it a disappointment? Was it still significant in the pay-per-view? Was it kind of like, it's whatever, the pay-per-view was still great? Or was it kind of like the pay-per-view would have been perfect except for this disqualification?
Personally, I think it was a disappointment. I wanted to see a little more action, but I don't know what they got planned. From what I heard, it's going to be the Usos versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So they're going to start, I guess, getting away from the Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, program. I don't know if they think it's ran its course because that was their rubber match. And so they've already done it 3 times. And then you had the Royal Rumble where Lashley came in and took, Brock out. And now Brock's been losing to Lashley. I think it's ran its course. I don't know what they're going to do next. But from what I heard is that they're going to build up the Usos versus Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania. I'll see how that works out between now and then,
Yeah.
All right, Justin.
What about you, Justin?
Yeah, my dad did not like that. Are you gonna bail out the pay-per-view here? Are you gonna?
Well, I don't want to bail out the pay-per-view as a whole because it was good, but this was the black eye of the pay-per-view, man. They didn't give us a decisive finish. These are the 2 biggest dudes probably in that division. They pack a lot of muscle, and the fight was going good, man. The DQ it's not a satisfactory ending that we wanted. We wanted better than that. They could have, had maybe even Lesnar go up this time and force them to at WrestleMania. I mean, you could main event this. This is, this could be main event worthy. And they didn't give us that. It seems like on Monday night now, it's gonna they had the big guy almost, I'm not even sure how you say his name. He's issued out a challenge to Brock Lesnar. I don't know if he's gonna accept that. I don't know if it's just fodder because they're going to do Bobby Lashley again, but it kind of left us with a lot of questions for the trajectory of Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania. And being that it's the last pay-per-view right before you get to WrestleMania, you kind of want to know the direction you're heading. They didn't give us that direction. So I'm going to have to say on a pass-fail, this was a fail on the night on WWE's end.
It seemed to me like it was a filler match. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was like they put it in. The stars were on in the Elimination Chamber, and I think that's what WWE wanted to focus on. We don't want to make this match bigger than the Elimination Chamber.
Good point.
We want to just let's do it. Let's fill it. Let's fill it in. Do your big moves and let's get out and let's not have a decisive, ending. And we'll see what we could do with it coming on down. But we don't want anything that might, shadow the Elimination Chamber match because that's what everybody was, and of course the Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns match as well.
Was it a long match? I feel like it wasn't a long match the way that you guys are describing it.
Now, these guys don't go for long. It was like 5 minutes in total when we got the DQ. So, and it was getting into the good heat. The dude had sunk his hurt lock move in. Brock couldn't break it. It was starting to get like, we're gonna get him dominating him again, and they just didn't give it to us, man. And I wanted an ending. I wanted to know what's the spot, but now they're throwing up different things for Brock. We'll see what happens. I mean, the only black eye in the pay-per-view, personally for me, was this.
All right, and then Brock ends up, beating up the refs and destroying the place. It's a usual
that was
ending.
Fun.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it might almost is the guy that they're gonna.
Yeah, the 7-footer. What's his name? MVP came out and said, we're issuing you a challenge at WrestleMania. It's up to Brock to say, yeah, I'm down for the challenge, or I'm gonna try Lashley one more time because MVP used to represent Lashley. It's all over the place. There's no direction, and we're only a few more weeks out. You want to kind of have the direction of where these stories are going, and it's kind of up in the air for this one at least.
Yeah.
Well, we'll kind of steer away from the sour moment there. Where there was 5 total matches. We're going on match number 3. Edge and Beth Phoenix defeated the Judgment Day by pinfall. So this was not a DQ. It looked like the match ran a pretty decent time at about 14 minutes. I'm looking at here. So tag title, and I mean, I don't know if it was a tag title, but tag team. And this wasn't your typical tag team. It's not,
Mixed
4
tag,
dudes in there. It's, guy and girl versus guy and girl. What did you guys think of this match? It looked like there was some, I think Dominic Mysterio was in here. Rhea Ripley was in there as well. So was this, a little bit better for the fans?
Go for it, Justin.
Yeah, this was a nostalgia. Whenever you get Edge and Beth Phoenix back, it's fun. He's been out with that injury. He came back. He's still feuding with the Judgment Day, the group that he created. And now, they've moved on to a new leader. I love the ending. I love that they went over. They got the win. What I did not like now is on Monday night, they kind of extending the storyline. I'm kind of ready to move on. And they're saying, no, we're going to head into WrestleMania with this. I soured up on a little bit on it now that it's been a few days. But the night of, I thought it was excellent. I thought the way they handled it. Beth Phoenix, she's a mom. I think she has 2-3 kids. She was missing some spots, but it didn't matter. It was all fun. It was good to see. I really did like this one. It's a pass for me. I liked it.
Yeah.
What you think? What you think?
I mean, just like it was a bit sloppy at times. She was missing some spots and stuff like that. But the overall feel of it was good, and Rhea Ripley, she's gonna go far in the WWE, man. She's pretty tough, man. She's like a sort of a semi China, and she's got a lot of talent. And then she's surrounded by some great talent like Finn Balor. I mean, that guy is an amazing performer. This guy is, and the way he finished Raw last night, where he was really aggressive and he played that, that anger and he attacked the Edge at the end of the match. So I'm looking forward to seeing Edge versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania if it does happen. But Rhea Ripley, that's something interesting. What do you think is going to happen with her? Justin, after this match that she was part of.
Well, going into Mania, she's going to be facing Charlotte for the belt. That's where it gets interesting. Like you mentioned, if she wins the title, does she kind of still run with these guys in the Judgment Day, or does she, decide to separate a little bit? Right now, they're kind of doing that whole mommy poppy thing with Dominic Mysterio. Yeah. I gotta admit, man, when Dominic first came out, I kind of thought this was a joke. He's only there because of his dad, but he's got real heat on him, man. The fans are booing him. And in wrestling, it doesn't matter if they boo or cheer as long as they give you a reaction, because when you don't get a reaction, you've messed up. And the kid is getting some serious heat. He's getting real boos. And I gotta appreciate it.
The more Weasel he acts, the more boos he gets.
Yep. It's going over with the fans as far as the reaction. They're booing. Yeah. So,
I mean, when you say Mysterio, is that part of the Mysterio legacy?
Yeah, he's a son of Rey Mysterio.
But like his son's son or his wrestling son?
No, his real son.
Oh yeah, blood son.
Yeah.
All right, so then we went from kind of a little bit of a dud in the Brock Lesnar match. It seems like you guys really enjoyed the tag team match here. Now the fourth match, right before the main event, we have Austin Theory defeated Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Montez Ford, who I think Justin said stole the show here, and Seth frickin' Rollins. So how was this match, boys? What do you let's just give it a rating real quick to kind of get started here. 1 to 10. What did you guys give this match?
Dude, I give it a good 7 or 8 because there was a lot of action and there was some pretty good spots too, especially that Seth Rollins Hurricane Rana from the top of the damn capsule.
He landed insane.
It was insane. I saw a video of somebody in the crowd that videotaped it, and seeing it there live was crazy.
Wow.
But the guy I really liked was Bronson Reed. He reminded me of what is it? The guy that has all the one that came out on I got his name at the tip of my tongue. He was in the movie Major Pain.
Oh, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam
Bam
Bam.
Bam Bigelow. Yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow. He reminds me of a Bam Bam Bigelow. And also, remember the guy that used to be in ECW that was like, just like, he was like a
Thick.
tree trunk.
Hmm.
Yeah. También. So, I mean, and he's very athletic, man. And he was a lot of fun to watch, man.
Hell yeah, Justin. What was
They
your
were all
reaction?
on, they were all on top of him, and he just like, you know.
And your
Yeah.
reaction to Austin Theory winning the chamber? Did the right guy win? Could the WWE have gotten another route? With the champion. I know you said somebody stole the show here. So,
Yeah,
what was your
yeah.
reaction to this match?
So if I had to give it a rating, I was big on this match, man. I give it a 9 even. I really like
Oh,
this match. Everybody got to get their stuff in, which was cool to see. As you mentioned, Bronson Reed being the big dog there, he was, beating up on people. I think it took 2 guys to pin him. You kind of want to make him look strong. You don't want to make him look weak. Austin Theory winning is perfect. It sets up what we're hoping to see is John Cena, Austin Theory. That would be pretty fun for WrestleMania to see a return. They announced on March 16th, John Cena will be back for Raw. So maybe they
Yeah,
do a cut of promo. Maybe we can get that. Now,
it's
stealing the
actually
show,
it's actually March 6th that John
March
Cena's coming.
6th. There you go. So stealing the show, Montez Ford, the guy to the left here with the glasses, man, he really stole the show for me. That the way he climbed the cage and came down, did that flip. I mean, he's in the tag team, right? This is his, one of his first times he's doing some singles work where it's for a title. He does singles work, but it's never really for a title. It's against another tag team opponent. I think it's time. I think he goes the singles route. I think he has the it factor in wrestling. His wife Bianca Belair has it as well. I think it's time they can make a push for this title, the U.S. title. I would like to see more from him, but man, very high on this match. Everybody did excellent. This is the match that Logan Paul came in, Ron, and they set that up for WrestleMania. Him and Seth Rollins. There's an opponent for Logan Paul now, and I gotta say, from what we saw at Royal Rumble, what we've seen from Logan Paul, him versus Seth Rollins, it's going to be spectacular. That man, Logan Paul, was made to wrestle, bro. He has that factor, and it's going to be fun to watch, bro. He's going to bring it, and what a better opponent than a guy who could bring it just as much, Seth Rollins. So I'm looking forward to it, bro.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
what do you think about Logan Paul being? I mean, somebody who's watched wrestling and from the 70s, and the 80s, and it's transitioned. This is a social media star. Let's just be frank here. This is a social media star who's coming into this world. Is it good? Is it bad for wrestling? And what do you think about Logan Paul as just an athlete?
It's groundbreaking. I mean, back in the 80s, it was Muhammad Ali, it was Cyndi Lauper, and then in the 90s, you had Mike Tyson come in, and these are, and they were
Pete
all
Rose.
just Pete Rose, and now these guys have caught up to the social media age, and they were good, great idea bringing in Logan Paul, and just I honestly think that Logan Paul has probably made a lot of new fans of wrestling, dude, to tell
Yeah,
you the truth. Because he's got an audience that follows him that aren't necessarily wrestling fans. And
True.
they see him, and now he's being part of that, and they're seeing how much fun it is to watch it. And now it's that's because it's all about growing your audience.
Mhm.
And bringing in Logan Paul was a spectacular idea. I don't know how much money he's getting. I'm sure he's getting a good penny because
I'm
he's got a
sure.
lot of followers, but that's what they needed to do. Back then, like I said, they brought in Cyndi Lauper, they bring Muhammad Ali, Liberace, they bring in all these stars to be part of
Mr.
the
T.
wrestling. Mr. T and what's the name of the linebacker from New York, the New
Lawrence
York
Taylor.
Giants,
Lawrence
Lawrence
Taylor.
Taylor against Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yep.
So this was just a no brainer. Just hey, bring in Logan Paul, and he's bringing in a whole new audience, bro.
I think that it's smart by the WWE. Surprise, surprise, right? WWE and Vince McMahon and Triple H are doing smart things, but it's smart with them because you cultivate your audience. You grab, the wrestling fan at age 7, 8,
Yeah.
9, 10 years old, whatever it is, and then you just you grow them, and then they kind of pass it down to their kids. And hey,
Yep.
Miko, when I was 8, 9, 10, I was watching just exactly what we're doing now. I mean, you see my dad as, you know, got into wrestling, then he passes down to my generation, and I might not watch it as much now, but if it does get good again and my son gets into it, or my daughter, whoever it is now, it's just you catch them young, and then you make them a part of the wrestling, world. You have the posters up in their room, and you're buying them the monitos and the action figures, and then it becomes a little bit, nostalgic, where that's something that you want to share with your kids. So, all right, man. So let's get into it. 2023 Elimination Chamber. This is why everybody was watching the main event of the evening here, boys. So we had Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman defeated Sami Zayn by pinfall. And this match, man, it was 32 minutes and 20 seconds, the longest match of the night, which it should be. It was for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Who's going to take the lead on here? Because I know you guys have a lot to say about this. I think Justin quoted it as, Ron, it was a movie. We saw a movie last night. So who's going to take the lead here? Who wants the floor? Go ahead, boys. Give us your
reaction. The match was about 25 minutes because it was like 10 minutes of just working the crowd.
Hey,
I mean, the crowd was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's even Triple H said in the post press conference that he looked like he wanted to cry, because he was just, so amazed at the reaction the audience, created for Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. I mean, there were chants all night, but when the match first started, they were just standing there and they were just looking at each other and the crowd, and Roman was looking at the crowd like, what the hell? Everybody was, you throwing that expletive chant, but I think the match was great. They had a lot of great spots. And the Sami Zayn's family was at ringside there, and I was hoping Roman Reigns would take Sami Zayn there and start. There was a point where I think the wife thought like, this is real. You know what I mean? This is real shit.
She did a good job. Yeah.
Yeah. And the kid as well was there. And, I loved it when Roman was saying, hey, I tried, I tried to help him.
That's such good stuff.
And so I think the whole storyline was great. The whole, the way, the psychology of that whole match was really awesome. And at the end, I couldn't help but feel that, Sami came up short, and I couldn't help but feel like, well, what's next for him? I mean, obviously, if you don't get the belt, what's the next push? What's the next feud? Is he going to continue against Roman Reigns? The Usos came in also at the end, and it seemed like one of them was going to, end up backstabbing Roman Reigns. But it didn't happen. Did it, Justin? I don't remember it happening.
Nah, he didn't. And they teased it the same way with the Royal Rumble. Like they had him behind, kind of looking like if he was going to hit Roman just like Sami did. But he didn't go through with it, man. He didn't go through with it.
Yeah, so I think they're going to move towards an Uso, Roman Reigns type of, they're going to break apart maybe. Yeah. I don't know what Sami Zayn, and Sami, you could tell in his face that, this was probably the biggest night of my career, and I don't know there's going to be another one. I mean, he won over the crowd, the audience, but a lot of people have to realize that the reason he won the audience over and the crowd over is because Roman Reigns put him in that spot. Mm-hmm. Roman Reigns carried him to that moment. And now if it doesn't, nothing happens between him and Roman Reigns from here on in. Now, Kevin Orton came in, so what they're thinking is it's like WrestleMania. What I'm thinking is it's going to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens against the Usos or against Roman Reigns and the Usos or one of those. So I'm not sure where it's going to go. We'll have to watch what happens. But there was a lot of possibilities, a lot of dynamics that came into the match. And, that it could go basically anywhere. But I don't know. I feel like Sami Zayn. I don't know where he goes from here. What do you think, Justin?
Well, I think what you mentioned was very key about, a lot of layers. This feels like a lot of like an onion. This is a movie. There's layers to this story that's being told by Roman Reigns. Who's doing it better than Roman Reigns right now in all of wrestling's industry? The guy is making movies in his matches, bro. It's incredible. Now, like you did say, Sammy came up short. If not now, when? I don't know if there's going to be another time. Like you mentioned, Roman put him in the spot. So you do kind of feel bad because Sammy got over naturally, organically, and he didn't get the title. It kind of seems that WWE doesn't let the hometown guys win the title in their hometown. That's the thing that happens. So
Brett
that,
screwed Brett. Can we just
yeah,
say
that
Brett
sort of
screwed
thing.
Brett?
That
The
sort of thing.
Montreal screw job.
Yeah, it's Montreal all over again. Hot
Don't
crowd
take
then,
me
hot
there,
crowd here.
man. Don't take me there.
So yeah, it seems like this is it for Sami Zayn. Now, he did hit Jey Uso, the one that believed in him from the Uso brothers. He did hit him with the spear because he was going after Roman Reigns. Roman got out of the way. Sammy hits Jey. Now, on Monday night, Sammy went and talked with Kevin Owens. They seemed like he wanted to patch things up, be friends with him, and maybe, go after the bloodline. You're seeing Jey, like you mentioned, kind of have that issue with Roman. There's cracks. There's cracks in the bloodline. I don't know how much longer it holds up. They can go any way with it. It's incredible how many possibilities they can go. They can do the split now. They can let the Usos split off. There's just so much ways to go about it. Now, what we do know is Roman's going to face Cody Rhodes. We know that's for sure because Cody won the Rumble. He gets the right. But it kind of seems like if it wasn't for, the cheating, Sammy could have won that match. So do they go that route, make it a triple threat? Do they go the route of him and Kevin Owens teaming up against the Usos at Mania? Do they split that up? It's just, they can go any way, and it's awesome. They have so much weight and movement with this. They've really done a good job of telling the story over a long period of time. I don't know if you saw, but WWE put out a video about the bloodline. It's about an hour and 10 minutes, and it's all the history of Sami Zayn and the bloodline, how it all formed. It's like watching a movie, bro. It's incredible. They've done a really good job with the story. I'm not sure a better story is being told in all of wrestling right now than this bloodline story.
If this wrestling line, this storyline is not stumping, but if it's giving you two guys trouble of what direction it's gonna go in, and you don't know what's gonna happen, I mean, WWE is doing a huge job because you guys are some wrestling aficionados here, and usually you guys kind of figure out, Nambe, this guy's gonna go over here and he's gonna team up with him and watch, and then the next pay-per-view it happens, or the next Raw it happens. So for you guys to say you don't know where it's going, you don't know what's gonna happen, there's so many angles here. I think that's really good, for wrestling, because let's not lie or anything like that. Let's just call it what it is. The wrestling is, scripted. And for you guys to say, hey, you know what? It might be scripted, but I still don't know what the hell is going to happen is great. And I think that's why we're seeing those numbers that, my dad had pointed out as far as views and fans and merchandise being bought, because maybe it's getting to the point where people might say, okay, you know what? It might be fake, but we accept it because the storylines are just so damn good, and it's so entertaining, and it's so enticing to watch.
It would have been it would have been a totally different story if they would have put the straps on Sami Zayn. I think that would have continued the feud between him and Roman, because Roman would have wanted the belts back. But it also could have brought in Roman Reigns and another potential, maybe Austin Theory. You got Bobby Lashley. You've got all kinds of people that could have come in, because Roman's already done the Brock Lesnar thing. I don't know if he's done a Bobby Lashley program. That might be the next one for him. I don't know. But I think the only way this would have been able to continue and be as compelling would have been if Sammy would have won the straps and they would have, wrestled for them at WrestleMania, Reigns wanting his straps back. But at this point, I don't know what they're going to want to do with Sami Zayn. There might be something. And then again, anything could happen on a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown. You never know. that could just change everything around,
Roman's
But
at 900 days now. And when he gets to WrestleMania, he'll be just like 50 days shy of like 1,000. So you got to think he's right there at 1,000. Is he going to even lose at Mania? Because, I mean, you probably want him to get to the 1,000 mark, right? So he might not even lose at Mania either. It's incredible. Who knows? Who freaking knows?
did Undertaker make it to 20?
20 yeah, I get what you're saying. He
20
made
in a
the
row?
21 and 0. Yeah.
I think he lost on 20, didn't he? Where
Yeah.
we
think
thought
so.
he was going to win at 20. Didn't he lose
To
like
Lesnar,
the
yeah.
20th? Yeah. So and everybody was like, or did he lose to Roman Reigns? One of those guys. But everybody was like, 20, man. Who else is going to have 20 in a row? And boom.
It happened.
Totally
Well,
shocked, and they don't let him win. But
man, it sounds like this pay-per-view was really, really good. You guys really enjoyed it. I mean, there was a genuine, reaction there from beginning to end, except for, maybe the little Brock Lesnar match. But regardless of it, it sounded like a great pay-per-view. The WWE is heading in the right direction. It was awesome to have, Mr. Hot Rod on the shirt and Rock and Roll James with us today. Thank you,
Hell yeah.
for being with us, Dad. But of course, I'm not going to let you guys leave just like that. You think, you guys are going to get off, and just, hey, I'm going to go talk a little bit about wrestling, and that's it. That's all we're going to do. So nothing crazy here, just a little game.
Before we go, I wanted to ask Justin what his favorite Elimination Chamber moment was. Out of the entire pay-per-view, what was that moment that you loved the most? Like in WrestleMania, you get the WrestleMania moment, right?
Yeah.
What was the Elimination Chamber moment for you, man?
I think it's honestly the main event. It's hard to pass on that. And you got the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, okay, the first 4. So the
that
moment
story, that movie that's being told where they don't even touch. He's looking at the crowd. He's just playing off the crowd. It was like improv acting. I mean, however the crowd was feeling, he was reacting to it. It was building him up. He was getting more pissed that they kept booing him. They brought out the expletives, the F you Roman. Whenever the wrestling fan base, like the crowd that's at the thing, kind of becomes part of the match, that's when wrestling's at its best. And they were definitely part of that match. Like Sammy had said the Friday night before, it's not just me one-on-one. It's me and the 17,000 that are going to come to see me against you. And it really did feel like that for the first 4 minutes. It was electric, bro. It was electric.
Yeah, my moment was that Seth Rollins Hurricane Rana. I mean, that took a lot of guts to do. And I mean, I've gotten on top. I took Ron one time to Reynosa, to the wrestling match in Reynosa.
Wild, bro. Fucking wild. Like,
yeah, and we get there and nobody's there and the ring's there. So let's get in the ring, right?
Yeah.
So
and this was like at 10:30, 11 in the morning, right, Dad? It wasn't like at night. Yeah, on a Sunday. Like hot as hell.
Yeah, it was at the Arena Coliseo there in Reynosa, right? So I got Ronnie over there, and then we go into the ring, and I try to climb up to the top turnbuckle. Hell no, dude. It's high.
Oh, yeah.
And then in between matches, all the kids, Mexican kids, like the street kids, would get in the ring, and they'd be playing, and Ron was like, "Dad, can I get in there?" I'm like, pues ten cuidado, mijo, porque aquí te comen el lonche los chavalos esos, you know what I mean? So he goes in there and he's looking at me and he's trying out the robe. I mean, Ronnie must have been like 7 or 6.
This is a great story.
Yeah, and he's like checking out the robe, and he walks in there and there's kids in there like really wrestling hard, bro.
Yeah.
They were all elementary kids, but those are some good memories from the past.
Yeah,
but
we were there, and I think when we first got there and like the first match finished, right, the kids would just like go and run in there and stuff like that. And I was kind of like, oh wow, that's crazy. And then like kind of thinking about it, like maybe I'll go in there. Like the second match, I think I like got up off my chair and I kind of just like walked over there to like barely like reach out and like touch my hand on the canvas. And then
Yeah,
the third
yeah.
match finished, and then I was kind of like,
Getting the
you know,
courage.
yeah, like I grabbed the rope and I was like, oh man, you know, I thought they're like soft, but dude, it's just like
It's straight rope.
cables wrapped in
Yeah.
like tape, like just shingles and shingles and shingles of tape. So they're very like hard, bro.
Yo, man.
And then yeah, I think it was maybe like the main event or something. They were like, oh, this is the last match. So I said, you know what, screw it. I ended up just, I don't know where the courage came from, but I got in there and I was just kind of like, I kind of like stayed in the little corner, right? I wasn't like, you know, going back and forth, taking, you know, going off the
You weren't
rope,
taking bumps.
back and forth or anything like that. But I was just kind of like, oh, this is crazy. And it just,
all the Mexican.
it felt like it was the biggest damn ring in the whole wide world. That thing is just,
That's awesome. What a story.
It's so like overwhelming when you're in there. You see the wrestlers in there, but once you get in there, it's just, it's wild, man. You get this feeling of, it's just like this massive stage. And I mean, it's crazy. And that's because I was in there for, 15, 20 seconds. So
You'll
I
never
mean,
forget
going back,
it though, right, Ron?
no, never,
Like,
man.
that stuff's
So
cool, bro. Like stuff with your dad, you do stuff like that. That stuff's the best, bro.
Hey, bro,
It's the absolute best.
and dude, let me tell you, those Mexican luchadores, those guys are kamikazes, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's nothing but cement around that thing,
yeah,
and they're flying out and landing on the cement on top of each other and everything, and they were coming close to us, and Ron was kind of freaking out because it was pretty rowdy, but the rowdiness was in between matches. All those kids, I mean, the ring would just fill up with kids between ages of 4 and 10. And they were just going at each other, all kinds of wrestling and trying to do the high flying. But it was a really cool experience back then.
It was,
awesome.
dude.
I love that.
It was awesome.
It must have been about 97, 96, 97, 98. It was during the NWO.
And
like 10, Ron, maybe?
And I was about 8 chill. I was like,
don't age me.
I know, don't age me. I was in 96. I was probably like 8. Yeah. I was probably like 8 years old. But yeah,
so
man,
so when I saw that Hurricane Rana, I was like, dude, that takes a lot of guts, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and you're elevated way up there. That's an unforgiving stage that you're on when Elimination Chamber, the way all the metal around there. That's
any little slip, man, you'll break your neck, man, or break your back. I mean, so those guys took those guys took a big risk doing it. I think that was the moment for me when I went, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
Yeah. So that's what popped you then. That's what got you.
Yeah, man, that was my moment right there, bro.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, well, it sounded like a great pay-per-view. Yeah, no, it sounded like a great pay-per-view, man. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and maybe we can get together. We'll get together for WrestleMania, have a little WrestleMania shindig. Maybe invite some We Talking About Sports viewers and some PVT viewers, and make a little carnita or something. I don't know.
WrestleMania is 2 nights.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Sunday. And it's at SoFi Stadium in LA. And it's gonna be sold out, dude. I mean, that place is monstrous.
It's gonna put the Super Bowl to shame.
Have you seen the trailer for it already? The one they just put out with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Have you seen that trailer? They got Seth Rollins.
The Joker?
The Joker. It's awesome, bro.
Yeah, dude.
It's awesome.
Man, WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, there's going to be a lot of stars, sports stars, movie stars, television stars. They're going to be there, and it's going to be an amazing WrestleMania, dude. It's probably going to be the biggest ever.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, they're sold out, so it's going to be
crazy. For a 2-night thing too. It being sold out, wild. But before we go, let's just get into this. It's just going to be cool. I'm going to do since it is WrestleMania Hollywood, and we're not just into wrestling, we're into sports, we're into movies, especially. My dad is a very big movie aficionado, as are you, Justin. So I said is now that wrestlers are going into movies and they're getting into acting and they're cross-platform with the UFC, let's just play a little game here. I'm gonna name some movies and name some shows, and let's see if you guys can pick the wrestler that was in that movie or in that show. I'm gonna say it. It's just random. Whoever yells out the name first, wins. We can tally points or we cannot. It doesn't matter. I just thought it's something cool since we've never done a show together before, and you guys are both on here. All right. So I'll start off with something. It's just that some of these are a little bit more modern. Justin might have the edge on these, but then some of them are a little older, so my dad might have the edge. But let's just start off with This wrestler was in this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Batista.
Yeah, Batista played in Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, cool. All right, so I don't know who's gonna know this one. Hopefully, this one's a little strange, but this wrestler played a stripper in the movie Magic
Kevin Nash.
Mike. Oh, Justin,
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash is one of my all-time favorites. I listen to his podcast every week, bro. He's awesome.
Kevin Nash, yeah. So he did play a stripper in the movie Magic Mike with Channing Tatum.
Never seen it, but I know who it is.
I never saw it either.
Yeah, maybe that's one that you don't want to get right, Dad. So no hay pedo, no hay pedo.
He also came out in one of the Punisher movies.
Yeah,
The
that's
one that was
right.
really comic bookish. It wasn't the ones that I like. It was one of the ones that was really comic. While they're cooking in the scene. Punisher, he comes in like a big old sailor guy.
Oh, you know
he
what?
starts
You're right.
wrestling. He starts fighting with Punisher, and they destroy the whole house, and they end up in the kitchen where they're cooking.
All right, so we'll do. Well, I was gonna do this one, but we already kind of talked about it. I was gonna say this wrestler was an ex-UFC heavyweight champion.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar. There you go. All right, this wrestler came out in the TV show series.
It could have been Ken Shamrock.
True.
Oh,
It
you
was in
see?
the 90s, the world's most dangerous man. So
Could've gone
he
either
was
way.
Dropping some knowledge on me. You stoned.
That's a bonus right there for getting two right.
He was a UFC
Yeah,
champ, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah, he was. He was. Okay. All right, bonus point there.
Versus
All right, this
Tito.
wrestler came out in the HBO series Entourage. I don't know if you've seen it, Dad, but Entourage.
Bro, man, that's tough because a lot of people came out in that. Now, are you talking about the movie
No.
or the
You know
series?
what? We'll just do movie. Yeah, we'll do
Ronda
movie.
Rousey.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey did come out. Okay. This wrestler posed for Playboy.
Oh, that's a lot.
Sable.
Sable's the answer. Yeah.
China.
Because,
China.
Also?
well, yeah, I was gonna say, well, Sable was the answer because she was the first one, right? Or
Yeah,
did
I think
China
so.
do it?
I think she was first.
Yeah, I have him.
Of course you do.
I have
They're
the
signing
China ones
everything.
autographed.
Oh, wow.
Damn, that might be a
Yeah.
collector's item because I mean, rest in peace to China, aka
Yeah.
Joni Lawler.
Yeah, that might be.
I have also the one with Gene Simmons on the cover. And like it's rare. There's like 2 covers in the entire history of Playboy with a man on the
No way.
cover.
Wow.
And Gene Simmons is one of them. I have it.
But is it him with the woman or it's just him?
It's him with 3 chicks all dressed in kiss paint.
Oh shit!
That looks
Damn.
cool. You gotta
At-
send me a
at
photo of
his-
that.
At his feet. Yeah. It's a cool.
Don't
It's a
let
cool
Justin
Playboy.
make sure and watch when Justin goes to your house next time because that might go missing.
Dude,
That is,
I have
I don't do that, Ron.
some Raw magazines from way back, dude. They used to have a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Raw
It was,
magazine.
it was awesome, and there's some really cool. I'll take pictures and send you all some covers. They're really
Yeah.
cool.
That'd be
Mhm.
those would be nice to see. This one, it was a TV show called Boy Meets World, and
Vader.
this guy, yeah, Vader,
Topanga,
Vader,
Topanga.
Topanga.
Topanga. Vader did come out as one of the bullies' dads or something like
Yeah.
that.
Let's
You
score.
you actually mentioned this one earlier. He came out in the movie Major Pain.
Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Big, and it was funny because we were doing
That's
the
a hell
show.
of a movie.
I know we're doing the show, and then my dad just said it, so I was like, oh well, that was a question.
There it is.
Oh, look at that.
Killing is my business, and business is
It's
good.
good. No. But you got to say it in the Major Pain voice if you're gonna say it.
You know I can't, Ron. I'm not a voice guy like you.
Oh, come
Come
on.
here, turd.
All right, I only have
shirt. I just got it, man.
That's awesome, man.
I
I
only
saw
have,
you wearing it
3 more.
on the other podcast the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. On PVT.
Yeah.
Okay. Came out in the movie Rocky 3 as Thunderlips.
Hogan.
Hogan. Okay, bang bang there.
By the way,
Oh, there he is.
That's bonus points. That's bonus points.
Look
When
at
you have
that.
it right here in your
Put those
reach,
closer
that's
to the
bonus
camera.
points.
Damn it, boy.
Dude.
You
wow.
There's Thunderlips right here.
That's wild.
The
Oh,
collectibles
my
your dad has,
Uh,
bro, it's unmatched. That's crazy. He has that
Dude.
rock
No.
one too.
These were actually sent to me by a PVT fan.
No shit.
Nice.
He said
Those
them
look
to me,
like those are
bro.
some quality
Hell yeah.
monitos there, man.
You don't see that like at stores at all.
Oh hell
I
yeah.
bought. Let me tell you, Justin. I bought Ronnie a bunch of toys, dude. I mean,
Dude,
like
they're
really
still
collector's item.
they're still
And
wrapped.
I got him the NWO with Hogan and Rodman. I don't know if he still has. Rodman
Yeah.
was part of the NWO.
He
Dennis
was missing
Rodman.
basketball practice to be in the NWO. How
Yeah.
crazy is that?
And
Yup,
that's also going back to celebrities and superstars in other sports getting into wrestling. You know,
Yeah.
Rodman was somebody else, along with the Tysons and all those that you guys mentioned. All right, I only have two left here. He was in the movie Walking Tall.
Rock.
Oh, The Rock, yeah.
The Rock, yeah, yes, sir. And finally, Daddy's Home starred who?
Daddy's Home. Oh, that's John Cena.
Ah, yeah, it
John
is.
Cena. Yeah,
He was like-
and that was a good one because he only comes out at the very end.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the father of the kids.
Yeah,
he was a
Mark
Mark
Wahlberg's
Wahlberg's new chick,
stepson or whatever, yeah.
stepson.
yeah.
All right, so I think Justin got maybe one or two more right, but my dad with the bonus points, man, and the monitos.
The
and,
bonus
those
points, that's
extras,
the win.
So it was.
Thunderlips.
Dog,
Major
yeah,
pain.
man,
That's how do I compete with that? I don't got nothing. Oh, hold up. Let me see if I can compete. 1 second.
Oh, here we go.
The oldest dude has the toys in the shirt. Right?
I might have something. I might have something that
You may Justin go into his bag here, man.
literally my bag. Let me see if I can compete just a little bit.
A ver.
I think you've seen it, Ron.
You brushing up all the dust or what?
Nah, it's in a bag and all that. So
Well, let's see the bag. Let's see where you have it, kid. Oh,
Oh shit! It's upside down.
You know?
You have the spinner or no? The spinner one.
It's not the spinner. Why is it not coming out?
Because I don't know, bro.
The animation is ruining me right now.
You know why it's
Let
not,
me see
you
if
know
I
why
can fix this.
You know why it's not coming out?
Why?
You can't see it.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Oh man, it was unbelievable, man. This was just something that we did right away. We didn't plan this. This was literally like, hey, let's just see if my dad's free. Let's do a show. He loves wrestling, and we love being on PVT. And the fact that you took time to be on We Talking About Sports was, hey man, it was truly, truly awesome.
Means a lot to me.
we were like, hey, number dad, almost like 15-20 minutes tops. Dad tops. We're going on an hour and 10 minutes.
Son las 10 de la noche, carnal.
But that's it for us. Justin, anything you want to say before we go? Pops, anything you want to say before we go?
Nothing, man. Just thanks to Rock and Roll James for being here with us. It means a lot to me. I'm really happy you came on the show with us. I had a fun time talking wrestling with you as always.
Yeah, and I always have a fun time when you guys come on the show, man. We get to talk about a lot of cool stuff, and it's always cool. And just keep doing what you guys are doing, and and keep putting 100% passion and effort and consistency into it. And it's a lot of it's something that's really good to do. And I really enjoy seeing you guys putting stuff together, man, online. I think me, Felicia, and Ron, right? We're like the
three amigos.
Online family, or what? The online family. We all got into this digital age, and we embraced it. I know a lot of radio jocks that didn't do that, and they became irrelevant. You have to stay relevant. You have to be able to embrace the all the modern technology and see how far you can go with it. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that I need to learn, and and there's new technology coming out every single day, every month. But just as long as there's content and it's something that's enjoyable and it's something you love to do, man, just keep doing it, man.
Yeah, so I think Wednesday nights 8 p.m., right?
Yeah, Wednesday nights 8 p.m. #PVT. Just look for, if you go to YouTube and search #PVT, all our stuff will come up. And I bring in all walks of life. We bring in comedians, musicians, artists, authors, and just people, just regular people that just like to talk about cool stuff, and that's what we do. I didn't want to
same here.
I didn't want to corner myself or pigeonhole myself with just like Tejano music because that's what
Mhm.
I've been well known for with all the Selena interviews that I did in the past. Because I'm very inquisitive. I love absorbing. You were on our Facebook show with me and Fish,
Mhm.
and you were seeing the knowledge that I had on all
Yeah.
that music.
Rock and roll
So
history. I was all
yeah.
the stuff he was talking about. I even put a comment. I go, "Hey, Rock could be a historian in the Rock and Roll History Museum because he knows a lot of stuff."
No, I
And,
mean,
Yeah.
and
a
this
lot
is
of
not
people
just
just
frontmen. He's talking about so and so drummer, like people in the background. Oh, the third singer. And I'm just like, oh, this is incredible. And names, knows everybody's name. That's it's awesome. I tune in every Friday because of that.
Yeah.
the Rock and Fish show, man. You can catch them on Q94.5, and you also have your own show, and you also have a Facebook page as well, and you just started the YouTube channel, right, for the
Yeah.
the Rock and Fish show
Mhm.
too. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think this is really cool too because it kind of uh you get to know a lot of people that you never might have not met. We just did something with Warrior Wrestling Academy, who was right here in our backyard. Shout out to Raymond. He has a wrestling academy for kids. On the topic of wrestling, this is a little bit more like collegiate high school wrestling, but
Amateur wrestling.
we met him through the show. And that was really cool. The dude's an amazing guy and has a great program for the kids. So because of we talking about sports, and because of Ben, and because of Roland and Justin starting this up and then inviting me in with them, we now we're friends with Raymond and Warrior Wrestling Academy. He just had an event up in Corpus, and he made a banner with our logo on there. So
Yeah.
it's just cool, the connections that you make, and the friends that you make, and the good people out there that you get to know. So this is
It
really cool,
it's
and
a
it's a really cool
we
platform.
yeah, we've become a network society,
Yeah.
and so
Mhm.
that's what we do now. We network. Before it was a mass society where it was television and radio, and now it's a network society where people network. If you look it up, there's a whole even on Wikipedia. If you look network society, you'll see where we're moving towards now, past the television and radio era.
I agree.
And
Mhm.
so it's really something cool, and it's something that's that's accessible to all of us.
Very
And
true.
the thing I like about doing the show that I do is that I love stories, and
Yeah.
everybody's got stories, man. Justin comes in, you come in, and we all got a story about
Yeah.
something, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, that's what it's all about. But I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys calling me last minute. I just got back from the gym.
Typical, right? Like,
Yeah, I was at the gym. I did a little workout, and then I came home and I had a little protein shake, and then I got the text, and I was like, okay, what is he? Oh, okay, we want to do a
yeah.
thing like this. All
A
right,
quick
so
show.
let's
Yeah.
do it, man. I appreciate you all thinking about me.
Oh,
Thank
of
you. No, no,
course.
no. Thank you for responding, and more importantly, thank you for taking the time. And I think that's gonna be it. We can show our wrestling shirts. Our merch. WWE has made some money off us as far as merch goes.
Th-
So,
Check this out, Ron. This is the guy that supposedly is rumored coming to WWE. Jay White. That's the rumor.
Oh,
man, Justin's got that like
Oh, Kane with the
underground press up.
poncho.
Kane with the sombrero
yeah.
on. Okay. All
I'm
right,
ready
man.
for
Well, that's
Cinco
it
de
for us.
Mayo, bro.
For myself, for Justin, and for Mr. PVT Rock and Roll James himself. That's it. We're out of here. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great night. Thank you.
Peace.